Hey, hi guys, this is Pastor Dan, and today I have this a short video for you with somebody that I think is amazing Pathfinder leader, and this is Rumbi, and Rumbi is coming from a Holloway church. Is that right, Rumbi?
Yes, absolutely.
So what happened? Let me just tell you what happened, guys. On a Sunday, a Southern Conference had a mid-year AGM. So in case you don't know what that is, it is an annual meeting for all the Pathfinder leaders. It usually happens annually, which means it's once a year. But Pastor Cliff and I think this is excellent year, and his leadership team decided to have one more in the mid of the year. And so, as I was presiding that meeting, Pastor Clifford actually asked, can the club share some experiences and some practices how to run the club in the pandemic, in this lockdown situation? And among all of these guys, Rumbi had something to say. So I posted the link, and Rumbi, you're running some kind of blog, is that right?
Yes, www.thepathfinderzone.com, all about Pathfinders.
Very good. So as I was able to observe, I copied the link because Rumbi said, I have this blog which gives you tips how to run it in the pandemic situation. And when I checked it and reposted to the British Union Conference Youth and Pathfinder Facebook page, it was like 22 shares, comments, and other things, and people are so thankful. So I thought, listen, guys, because you love these tips so much, let's get Rumbi to tell us a little bit more about her experience. So Rumbi, if I understand properly, today you're going to share 3 methods of how to run it. Method number 1 is the method that you use. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely, at Holloway.
And now, before we start, and after this, you can share your PowerPoint if you want. Let me just ask Rumbi, how big is your club? How big is the church? And then take us how you're running it.
Okay, so my club has about 55 to 60 Pathfinders and adventurers, including Eagle Beavers. All together, if we include the counsellors and the junior counsellors, it's about 100. Wow. My church, technically my church has membership of 600. Technically,
we all know what that means. That means usually on Sabbath there is no more than 300 people.
Exactly that.
Yes.
Exactly that. So and I'm co-director with my good friend Haley, by the way, which we do everything together, and it's easy because we've been through Pathfinders together. So
and you invited Haley, but she was not able to make it. So I just want to say a big thank you to you and Haley for doing this amazing job in London. So now let's go into tips straight away, because people would like to hear that. Rumbi, tell us, what are you doing and what would you suggest that works really well and what it doesn't? And also, let me just ask a question. Why did you bring other 2 models?
Why did I bring other 2 models?
So there was 3 models altogether. First one is yours and 2 others.
Yes. I brought other models because not every church is my church. So what I do is not going to work for everybody else, but there are different ways of making it work. So I thought, okay, let's find out what works best for you. It might be one of them. It might be parts of one of them. It might be mixing them all together. It's literally about your club. Your club, one thing I'm passionate about, if you didn't know already, Pastor, is that no club can mimic another club. I always find that clubs are they're competing against another club, comparing themselves, or current Pathfinder leaders comparing themselves to past Pathfinder leaders. I really don't like it. Just work with what you have. This is the lot that you've been given. So what are you going to do with it?
So in other words, today, if you read Rumbi's blog in Pathfinder Zone, you will get what she wrote there, but also bonus of 2 additional models. So let's go straight to your tips, how to run it and the way you run it.
Once a week, each class teacher meets with their class on whatever platform. And the interactive lesson involves the morning watch, which each child must learn. In our club, that's the Book of James, which is connected to AB and PBE and the lesson plan.
And for everybody who doesn't know what AB and PBE is, and there's many people who don't, it's Adventure Bible Experience and Pathfinder Bible Experience. And what we do, Rumbi, is, I guess, we just learn parts of Scripture really well, and then we test each other, and then we have a conference level, union level, division level on that. Okay.
Yeah, and what's not on this slide is that we have a whole club meeting, which is attempting to get nearly 100 people on Zoom on Sunday morning once a month from 10 to 12.
Wow.
Now, as we all know, in the curriculum, there are times that there's a section organization and leadership, where the children themselves have to display something they've learned. And because we can't meet face to face, this is the best way for them to get these things done, whether it's lead out in a worship or opening exercises or in a discussion. And also we can, like, they can show off like their skills, like do a song maybe or play the piano. And also we did drilling and marching for the first time on, on Sunday. It was actually really fun. Councillor Alex, who did it, he said, so some of us were standing up, and he was actually calling us out. If you were sitting down, stand up please, left or right turn. So you can be creative. He also has 3 children, so doing it with them. Yes. I think at this point, drilling and marching, it's not about getting it perfect. It's about being aware of the commands and trying to facilitate that community of pathfinding. So
Thank you so much for this. We can move to the next slide. Let me just point out, guys, like Rumbi said, and that's the right sentence, is like, at this stage, in this environment, with all of these problems, we are not looking for perfect clubs. We are now looking for the clubs. And for everybody who is there, just to encourage you guys, you might not be able to get it the way you wanted to get it, but we think, and I think personally, that you should still find a way somehow to run your club. So Rumbi, Model A, that was the model that you run, is that correct?
Yes.
Rumbi, let me just ask you some negative parts about Model A. Let's just go, I'm going to stop sharing. Do you have it on the screen or you don't have it on the screen?
Yeah, they are. Here's the problem, logistical problems.
Okay.
Yeah, many different problems. Access to the internet, you think everybody has it. They do not. They do not have it. They do not. So you need to investigate who's got what, because some people are embarrassed to say they don't have a phone or they don't have an internet or they don't have a device. So as a leader, it's your responsibility to find out.
Yes.
A lack of intention looks like you've done nothing.
Yes.
So you have to be intentional about everything. As I mentioned before, siblings and gadgets, that's a thing.
Yes.
And even if every child in your club has a gadget, how big is their house? You're going to have 2 people in the same room having a lesson, and it's just so loud. It's distracting. You don't want that. Also, if you're like me, we've got the free version of Zoom, and it's 40 minutes long. So our friends class has 10 people, so 40 minutes is not enough because they're yip-yapping. So you've got to end it, then start it again.
Yes. Rumbi, let me just tell you this. Despite actually 40 minutes not being long, just to let you know, guys, in case if you didn't know this, we had a Pathfinder Bible Experience Union level test in March, and we have in Union about 2-3 accounts, whatever it is, for Zoom. And somehow the one I used was not paid for. So you, but let me just tell you this. Let me just tell you. You know, we had about 60, 70 clubs join, whatever it is. Even with the free Zoom, we were able to pull off the union level PB and AB test. Let me just tell you, AB PB test usually lasts 2 hours. So you can just imagine more complications. So don't allow this limitation to stop you thinking. There are other platforms which actually give you as much time you want, but if you don't use Zoom, it's 40 minutes free, and don't get stressed too much about that, guys.
It's true. And also, to what Pastor says, what I used to do, I used to create a new link every time the 40 minutes was up, but you don't need to do that.
You don't have to.
All you do, re-click the link. It saved my life. Older Pathfinders, my guides class, if they're not forced to attend, they will not attend. Every Sabbath, Pathfinders happens at the same time. And guess what? It's tiring. You have to call their parents. You have to call them. You have to text them.
Wow.
An hour reminder. Then at the time, just don't give up. Just
again, thank you, Rumbi, for saying this. I was a youth pastor in local church. My friends, I used to even pick up the kids and take them home for socials. I was a taxi driver on top of everything. Let me just tell you guys, is it worth? Yes, it is. And I just want to encourage you. One phone call is not going to cost you anything probably, but actually might mean salvation for somebody there. So make sure you stay on their case.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else?
The next one is about their video. Some people don't like to have their video on, and sometimes it's like, you know, that's fair enough. But then on other times, it's like when you say, "Hey, are you there?" and you ask the question, and it's just silence, and you're like, "Am I talking to myself?" So that is going to be a challenge. 100%.
in my life, I think I'm talking to myself. So I understand what you're saying. All right. Okay.
Yeah. And the last one, I think this is still like a big challenge for my club, is getting the junior councillors involved, because they've finished the curriculum and they're not yet responsible for a whole club. Yes. I know clubs like Stanborough do this really well, Stanborough in England, but for me, it's a struggle.
Yes, and I can tell you that when it comes to delegation and people stepping up, it's always a struggle. Again, is your word 100%? Does it take a lot of energy from you? Yes, it does. And sometimes you're tempted to do everything by yourself. That's like a lesson for me. Reality is you need people to be with you. Otherwise, you're going to burn out quickly. So make sure you do get some people to help you. Excellent. So Rumbi, model is not very complicated. Any function for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now let's go to model B. Is
model B? Yeah.
Tell me what is specific about this model?
It's using Google Classrooms. That its base is Google Classrooms. Obviously, I said it. I won't go through it point by point. I'll just summarize. So on Google Classrooms, what you can do, you can upload the curriculum on it, and you can upload a folder for Friends class. In Friends class, you can create another folder for each part of the curriculum, such as general, spiritual discovery, serving others, and you can put a worksheet on each.
Yes.
And they can download the worksheet, fill it in, like typing it, or they can print it out and do it, and then upload it back, and then they click done. Then the teacher gets an email that they've done the work, and bam, bam, they check it.
So let me just like bring up audience a reason why Model B is also very important. Rumbi, you remember that in that meeting, as some parents and some leaders were mentioning, listen, I don't want my kid to be in a Zoom, I don't want my kid to be in a Skype, Facebook, because sometimes they get hacked and some bad stuff happens in the room. So what we are saying, we're giving you another option in case your parents feel the same. Is that right, Rumbi?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Guys, classroom work, Google Classroom is amazing option. And I can tell you, we have amazing big club, also huge club in London, Ghana. This is our Ghanaian church in London, which uses this model, and also they use e-honors, the program that Union runs, and they just insert the videos in there through YouTube, and that's how they function. Take us a little bit more further to this Model B.
Yeah, I think every child needs a Gmail account. That's the key thing, and also it's easy for teachers to be able to monitor what's been done and what hasn't been done by each student very, very quickly. So it's not hard. I think it takes time to set up, but once you've set it up, it's easy to monitor. But as with everything with technology, there can be technological glitches. But a good thing about Google Classrooms is like you can contact someone to find out like their FAQs. You're not the only person using it, so there's always a way to find out more.
Yes, excellent.
I've got a few benefits. I've said it, or Pastor said it already. But the challenge is it really takes a strong month to set up. That's what I was told, like a team of people. And once you know how to do it, that's not good enough, because you have counselors and you're not teaching every class. You need to be able to train all your counselors to do it. I believe that good leadership is that if I was to die, my club could still run efficiently. That's what I believe good leadership is. The last one is method C, Doncaster Pathfinder Club. I should mention at the bottom is the link to the actual website. So this is creating a website from scratch. This is coding, and preparation time again is long. So each child on this website that my friend Shemaine has created is so each parent has their login, and once they get into the website, they have this the announcements page, any announcement the leader wants to give. Then they click into their they click on their child's name, and do you know what Shemaine said to me? She said next to their name is the name of the class that they're in, because parents often forget. And it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, I believe it.
And all their details, all the work that they need to do, all the work that they've completed is on there. And what each parent can see is different. And what I see as a non-member of the club is different to what the parents see. So it's different to Google Classrooms. It's similar to Google Classroom, but then it's different in the way that it's extremely personalized. So each Pathfinder or adventurer can have their own avatar. They can change the avatar. They can go on. There's a link to Kahoot, and they're different games. They're crosswords. So the website is designed not only for the Pathfinders and adventurers themselves, but also for their parents. So their parents, there's this thing about the point system. Everyone's like, how come this person has more points than me? And here on this, you can track how many points you have, how you got your points, if it's your morning watch, if it's attendance, if it's work, whatever it is. So you can really track your progress.
And let me just make sure you guys understand. Doncaster Club, that's our North England Conference Club. We probably need to, Rumbi, get them all together at some stage and just have this conversation once again to get experiences. But I'm thinking this might be the hardest setup of all. Is that correct?
It is. It is the hardest setup.
But
there are websites.
On the other hand, has the benefits, of course, of very personalized, a point system based. Some people don't like that. I'm actually shocked that North England Conference functions on point system, because North England Conference doesn't like points. But this is for some young people. I can tell you from my daughter Zara, her school sent her things to do at home. She's very young, and when she does it, she gets points. She loves when she's there, So what I'm saying is, this might work for your kids and and in some of the leaders as well. So, but this of course comes. So we have 3 models, guys, for you. Rumbi uses method A. Okay.
Can I just do the challenges of that one, or the benefits? That's what I wanted to say, if that's okay. The benefits of this model is everything is on one place. So it's not only for right now, but in the future, next year, when you want your Pathfinders, registration is very hard sometimes to get parents to register. As soon as they have login details, then you have their email address, hands down, you have their name, you have their address. All these vital details parents sometimes take a long time to give. Also, parents, you can pay for events on the website. What's coming up, the diary, all that information on one page in terms of induction. Also, on the front page, it explains what Pathfinders is. And now a lot of us see Pathfinders as in-reach for our club, but actually it's outreach. People in the community need to know what Pathfinders is, what Pathfinders is about, and what you want to do with their children. Now, this website allows them to know what's going to happen beforehand instead of learning as they go. And I think we're too accustomed as leaders to having parents who already know about Pathfinders instead of teaching Pathfinders and adventurers to parents. And I think this is the root of this. That's why it takes ages to set up, but that's why I like this website.
So Rumbi, is there any more slides on your presentation?
Yes, outdoor requirements. So a lot of what we've discussed is actually theoretical stuff. So how do you do outdoor requirements? Reflector oven. I spoke to Kennedy today, and he said that he's filmed how to make a reflector oven, and he's going to distribute the video at a virtual curriculum camp. And track and trail, he went out, he made a path, then he filmed it, and he asked questions. So even though no one's answering, he asks them, which way do you think it's saying to go? He pauses, and then he says, yes, you're right, or no, it's this way, that way. That's a way to do it. Other clubs are doing socially distanced hikes, and do not compare yourself to other clubs. This is the disclaimer. My club could never do this because we're in central London, so even to get to grass is a mission. Whereas other clubs on the outskirts of London, they can easily do this. So I think if you can do it, if it is possible, do a socially distanced hike and encourage your Pathfinders to camp in their garden if it's safe. Now, the reason why it's important to camp in their garden is because a lot of our Pathfinders, let's say, for example, their friends this year, they may have never pitched a tent before, never. And next year, it's Scotland camporee by the BEC or whatever camporee you've got wherever you are. You don't want them to go abroad and not know what a peg is, not know what a... So if you do have the resources for a garden, encourage your child to learn how to pitch a tent. Those are just vital skills as a Pathfinder or adventurer.
Once again, it seems to me imagination is the limit. In other words, if you cannot do it right now, there is ways to do it. It is just a question, can you find a little bit of that emotional energy and physical energy to go outside and do this for them at the moment? So in other words, it is possible, but it will take a little bit of time. And I can tell you guys, as we teach honors on the BUC Adventist Youth Facebook page, e-honors, we taught some outdoor activities like backpacking and things like this. It is possible to do it if you want to make it happen. As Kennedy did it, and that's, I would love to see that video, by the way. I also would like to see Kennedy. So
I've got one last slide, which is, sorry, top tips. I think I should do both. Safety, I'll include safety in top tips. In terms of top tips, is your vision. A lot of us have abandoned the vision that we started with. Why? Why? Go with what you know. If you have a vision, you knew where you were taking your club, revisit it. Like, if you need to edit it, that's fine. Do that, but you don't need to abandon it. The second one is, are you regularly communicating with your team? Pastor said it before, that you can't do it all by yourself. The reason why I like the first method, like the one that we were doing, is because I don't have to micromanage my team. My team does whatever they want to do, and then they just need to tell me who attended and what happened. Whereas the other ones, I might need to train them a bit, and I'm not there yet. I don't have that time yet. So regularly communicate expectations with your team. And guess what? If you're the Pathfinder leader, and let's say Pastor Dayan is teaching a class, friends class, the parents not going to go back to Pastor Dayan. They're going to go back to you. You need to know what's being taught. You need to know who's being attended. Like, there have been moments where a parent says to me, my child hasn't come. I didn't know the child wasn't there. I didn't know there was a problem. And guess what? It's absolutely your responsibility. A lack of intention comes across as silence.
I would like to say, and 100% support you. Everything arises and falls with leadership. We are people who love Jesus, and He blesses us. He gave you the wisdom. He gave you the time, and be a good leader. And I can tell you, if the club is not going well, it's very easy to point the finger and say, listen, my kids or my parents, what it is. Let me just tell you guys, everything rises and falls with you and me as leaders at the moment. So make sure, like Rumbi says, keep the vision going. And guys, if necessary, adopt change, do whatever necessary, but make sure that you're on the top of the game.
Yeah. The second one was, it's okay for it to start off slowly. Like the websites that we talked about, it took a month to build. So that's a month of what? Probably doing nothing. And that's okay. It's better to, have a pause, collect yourself, know what you're doing, and then start, instead of start trying to chase yourself. So they're going to be challenges. Just be flexible. And the last one on top tips is literally be sensitive, because like some of my counselors are over 70, some of them are 20. I can't have the same expectations. One might be shielding and one might not, and that is okay. Someone might not have the internet, someone has 5 gadgets. Someone might be working from home, whereas someone might have lost their job. You need to be sensitive to these things for parents, because it's going to affect their child's work, and also for your counselors. So you need to be extra, you need to ask each of your counselors, how are you? What's going on? A key one. And I'll just
wanted to mention also, you wanted to mention on the end about safety as well in all that we do. Let me just remind you guys, we live in England. We have the phrase health and safety, which is very much embedded in our minds. So Rumbi, tell us a little bit about that.
Safety. This is a key one for me, because I was eager to meet up with my Pathfinders until someone said to me, it's not simply about this, the cleanliness of the church. It's about how your Pathfinders are going to get there. Are they going to enter danger, getting on the bus, getting on the tube to get to me, to be safe? Those are things that we need to consider. And the last part is just what I've said about if someone doesn't feel if a parent doesn't feel comfortable attending, let's say you're having a socially distanced hike and a parent doesn't want their child to go, you should never ever make that parent feel guilty. Never ever. It's not, if they're not going to go because of safety, that is fine. You find another way of going about it.
Excellent. Rumbi, if you're able to stop sharing the screen so we can go back in other mode. Once again, guys, these are the tips. Rumbi uses model A. So we have 3 models. Rumbi, just quickly summarize model A. So
Zoom once a month, every week, and one Sunday for the whole club a month.
Excellent. Simple. There is not too much. Okay. A lot of Zoom. Okay. Number 2 model.
Google Classrooms to monitor work in addition to Zoom if you want.
If you want, and that combination I think works really well, of course, but it takes time to set up. So let's be clear about that. All right. And model number 3, which I feel is the hardest.
Create your own personalized website for your club with requirements, with points, with games, with videos, with everything you need.
And that website would have, of course, login for each of the members, moms, dads, and all this. And also that website is not just doing, let's say, a COVID or any other pandemic or anything else. It actually can be used all the way through because you can put everything on one place. Rumbi is one of the amazing leaders in London, which is doing a great job in Holloway Church. So Rumbi, big thank you for this. And for everybody who's watching, guys, make sure that you put in the comments, do you agree with these 3 models and how would you tweak them or what would you do? Or maybe you have the 4th or 5th or 6th model, how these things functions. I'm going to post this video on YouTube, also Facebook and other places. We would love to be able to get your input as well. So on behalf of myself and Rumbi, Rumbi and myself, we want to thank you for watching and God bless you. And we would just for now say, stay safe. Is that right, Rumbi?
Yeah, stay safe.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.